Thank you all for coming tonight. I especially want to thank Evgeny Afineevksy for coming and bringing this beautiful film to us.
I don't think that it's working. I don't think that it's open.
Now it is?
Yeah, it's open.
Yeah. We have the opportunity for you now to ask whatever questions you'd like. Anyone who'd like to ask a question, please come up here where you can use the microphone so everyone can hear you, and we can also get it on video. And would you like to start?
It's hard to start because I'm a filmmaker, a speech maker. So that was my last movie that started. Basically, the story started on my dad, 2005. I was inspired. This interface that we created, where on the street of my dad, on the street of Kiev, capital of Ukraine, I usually need the systems of interface, where literally all the religious leaders were together with the people, and that's what was made. And then, from my dad, I went to Syria, and it's somehow continuity of my dad for me, because Syrian flags I saw on my dad. And then also I learned that a lot of Syrian doctors were educated in former Soviet Union, which was fascinating. And at the same time, after Syria, I was looking for humanity, find something that can unite people, bring hope.
Okay, yes. Oh, really? Wow.
I can finish my sermon for tomorrow.
Yeah, that's good. Well, you have time to finish it tomorrow, don't you? I'm sorry. Uh-oh. My microphone was on, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
So basically that was the making of this movie, to try to find hope, humanity, love, which I unfortunately not saw in Syria. Syria for me was not only my post-traumatic syndrome, but also the darkest side of humanity that I witnessed there. And from this movie I tried to combine a lot of headlines of today's world, a lot of things that happen around us. As we saw, I traveled all the world. I saw a lot of things, from atrocities to really interesting developments that all create nice parts like refugee refugees in Myanmar and Bangladesh. He changed a lot of the sexual abuse, and I witnessed this because since 2018, when the whole situation in Chile broke, I literally was witnessing step-by-step changes that church kind of implemented. And up until today, I still see what Campos was recently eliminated in the Vatican Commission, and we still see how much transparency, how much fight for France is doing against the sexual abuse. Climate change. Literally 3 days ago, Paul, together with leaders of every faith, signed endorsement to the leaders of the world to enforce science and faith to combat the climate change. So almost every day we see that he's trying to do something to really change things like climate change, or fighting for sexual abuse, or bringing light of the refugees that we see here in the world. So, it's questions. Yes.
Fantastic film. So powerful. I'm absolutely touched. I was wondering, in starting the film, were you chasing the story of the Pope, or were you chasing the story of climate? I mean, how did it unfold? I mean, it's so powerful, but you were able to tell such an original. I mean, I'm a filmmaker. I'm so moved. I mean, you were able to just touch on so many things and really guide an audience.
how I can take a lot of subject matters that are surrounding us, and they are really current and hot issues, and find the common thread that not only can connect them, but also can give us opportunity of hope and ability to see what we can do. And somebody suggested me to go and learn about Francis. And when I really saw that he is trying to do something for interface, climate change, refugees of Syria, then I noticed a lot what he's doing, and I'm Jewish, what he's trying to do for the Jewish population, for the people, admitting that all this horrible Holocaust thing. I had friends who are Armenians, and I know about Armenian genocide, that he acknowledged this despite the Turkish government going after him. Learning all this evidence, I said, okay, I want to learn about him and try to do it through him, through the lessons that we can learn from him. And that's how I slowly created narrative. But I will tell you an interesting thing. For me, when I started in 2018, I had certain vision, but I didn't know how to put the final kind of full stop for the movie, how to accomplish the whole picture. And I think pandemic helps me to accomplish this, because we literally were filming through pandemic. I've been sick twice with COVID, so I was traveling. I guess I was one of the American people who stepped into the lockdown European Union, was continuing filming, editing, and finishing the movie. We literally finished the movie. I brought it to Holy Father to show him parts of the movie in August last year, and we finished cut in June last year. Literally, last day that we had last moment of the cut was his tweet about George Floyd, because he did a statement of that on the camera, and then I said, no, I don't want on the camera, I want his tweet, because tweet was much more powerful. That was the last day when the funeral of George Floyd was here, and we were there in Rome, and he was literally allowing me this last moment to do it. So that was kind of all on the go. As a documentary filmmaker, I can tell you, I never had a documentary that from the day one, I was having exactly the vision that I brought to the screen. It's always kind of on the go. Same like with the sexual abuse. I started in 2018, I didn't know where to bring it. I think I had 3 interviews with Juan Carlos through this period of time. Like, I had many different interviews with some of the characters in the movie during these 3 years. So for me, it was always on a go to kind of accomplish the full picture. So that's how it is. So I was going after him, but he was the one who needed to glue and connect all the things together. And yes, it was the trickiest thing because, for example, from going to climate change into the human stories, it's the toughest journeys around. It's sometimes really difficult to take from the human story into the climate change, which is kind of the nature. But he helps to kind of connect everything.
Wonderful. I have 2 more quick questions. One, how did you get in touch with the Holy Father in order to clear the movie? And follow-up question, what was your personal experience working with the Holy Father when the cameras were not rolling?
You know, when in 2018 I came to Vatican, and I met the head of communications at Vatican. He's a famous film buff. Right now he's the part of the Pontifical Academy, he's no longer head of communications. He knew my role, was familiar. So he greenlighted the project, but he never promised in the interviews.
Wow.
He never promised the interviews. And they said to me, start, we will revise what you're doing, and then slowly we will see. But there is no promise, period. And later I also saw that it was another movie done, and I also looked at Paul is not exactly a fan of camera, he is rather go to the end of the road, and he is the people on the front line, then to get a camera. He's not a star, and he's not a superhero. So, as really filming, I have my base, I've been persistent, I went immediately to Argentina and started my story from Argentina. I met all his friends like you saw here, Rabbi Skorka, Sheikh Amarapu, back to Vatican. I started to interview there. Then I returned back to Chile. Then I went back to Argentina. And through all these movements, I slowly established contact with him. He was observing what I was doing, but he wasn't interfering. But we established contact, which I built slowly, and already by the end of 2018, I was able to meet him, and then we started to meet more frequently. It was a slow process. The meetings that I had with him prior to the finish of the movie were completely different than the meetings that I have right now these days, because he was allowing me to be really objective, and he didn't want me to literally start to worship him. He really was caring about breaking this distance, and for him it was important that I was keeping my objectivity. My freedom of artist, I was given really freedom to tackle any subject. Nobody was really telling me what to do, which was amazing.
Wow.
And it's about my first meeting, how it's going with him. I will tell you, yes, he is the Pope, and he is a fascinating leader. First time, my heart was racing like a rocket to the moon. But I will tell you something. He makes you feel comfortable. He listens to you, and in a few minutes spending with him, you really forget this distance between the head of the Catholic Church and yourself. He makes you feel comfortable. He literally does not have any superiority, which is amazing. So you feel like you are next to your father, brother, somebody who is mentor to you, somebody who is ready to listen to you, and somebody who is ready to give you a hand in any moment of the day or night. And that was the Lord was here. And as a matter of fact, like last month, I was hosting with him together, also a screening and also an event for the refugees from 30 different countries, including, I think it was 12 or, no, it was 20 others, yeah. It was 20 people from Afghanistan who just arrived to Rome and we welcomed them to Vatican. It was 6th of September last month. We did it together. And last May, I did an event with him. We welcomed to Vatican to the screening for their homeless and poor people of Rome. So you really forget that he is the Pope and he's around you. Yes, he's in white dress. Yes, you can see him. Monumental human being trying to do so much for humanity. But he is, first of all, a priest. He said it to me many times. Evgeny, I'm a priest. And for me, I'm cherishing every human being.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes. Yep.
Now, yeah.
Anyone else?
Max, so. Okay.
That was really inspiring. Thank you so much. She talks about 3 years, right?
It is 2018, 19, and 20.
So I guess I'm more interested in the choices. It sounds like, well, what I thought it was really effective, you know, how you opened with the pandemic and just the scene of you know, Vatican City being empty, and then you close with that. Did that happen kind of like we got, in a way, narratively you got lucky with pandemic, because you had all of this material, all of these things you wanted to tell about, and I thought it was really, what I learned a lot from your film was migration, like just, you know, just how it's so forgotten about, and it's all in these marginalized parts of the world, and just to bring that story forward was great. But there's so much that you did tackle and you accomplished and you took on, but I wonder, like, would it have been, you know, as touching or narratively effective film had the pandemic not happened, or you didn't have that to kind of bookend the...
You know what? I will tell you an interesting thing. In 2019, I was pressuring him and myself to finish the movie. And something was missing. I had completely different cut, which started with opening the Holy Door in a Jubilee year, with him embracing with Pope Emeritus, and I was finishing in a alignment between him and St. Francis of Assisi. It was something missing. So I did a completely different version in 2019, and I was missing and I didn't know what is. And he actually said to me an interesting thing. He said, Evgeny, be patient, wait, trust God, trust universe, trust the process, just wait. And I was like, come on, it's 2 years for me, I need really to finish this. And then pandemic came, and I will tell you something. This first scene that you just mentioned, for me, means a lot. It summarizes that if we, as the humans, not will stop what we're doing and what is in this movie, all the disasters that we created, unfortunately, then Pope will be walking the steps of St. Peter's alone. And as we know, basically the square never empty. It's never empty. It's always people there. And when the Pope is on the square, there is always a lot of people. But here we see in him, in this darkest day on the earth. Rome have its dark days. When the rain comes, listen, last 3 years I spent in Rome. So, in between travels. So, it was the darkest day. You see all these clouds, and you see in him under the rain like a white angel of light walking through this. So for me, this scene symbolizing that if we not rethink what we're doing towards our friends, towards our neighbors, towards people who seeking help or seeking shelter like refugees and migrants, towards climate change, Mother Nature, then he will be alone on this earth. That's the power of this specific scene for me. And that's why I'm all the time going metaphorically back at the end of the movie, comparing 2013 March, when he was elected, square full of millions of people, and contrasting April 2020, where was the Easter, and it was actually Holy Cross, and it's empty square. Pope on the Easter, an empty square. I wanted this contrast. I wanted to bring this shock wave for the people, this cold shower, so people will have something to think after they're leaving the cinema, after they're watching the movie, because that's what Pope's saying during all these credits on the empty streets of the world. I specifically brought almost every street of every big city. Through the credits you can see from New York to Buenos Aires to, I think it's St. Petersburg, to Kiev, to Buenos Aires, I said, to China. It's like all Paris, Germany. I wanted to show the emptiness of the world. And he's saying this. Behind these streets, he's saying, we really right now need to rethink what we're leaving behind us today and what we're taking with us to the future. So that's why this beginning really means a lot for me.
Yeah, the quotes that you chose and that whole theme, that's what locked me into your film. It was, yeah, it's hugely ambitious, you know, the thesis, but you pulled it off.
Thank you.
Don't be afraid to put your hand up, because Otherwise, we won't have any more questions. Okay. Well, I want to thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I've seen this 3 times now, and every time there's something new in it. It's the way that you meet a person, you know, in the first meeting, you don't see everything about them. So that you have enabled me to deepen my relationship with the Pope, which is, for me, in my spirituality, is a very personal thing. So I thank you for that personally,
Thank you.
and as a pastor. And it's a miracle that this was brought about. You see how God works. Yeah. And I just thank you for bringing it here and sharing it with us at St. Ambrose.
Thank you. Thank you, Father Dennis, for having us here.
I have one little bit of business to do.
Yes.
Next Saturday at 7 o'clock, there will be a concert here of classical music, and everyone is invited. It's free. Our music director and musicians that he has assembled, and they are playing. They will be singing. Music from Barber, Bach, Handel, Debussy, Delibes, and more. It will be yes.
And since we're talking about music, I will finish with this thing. In this movie, when I was during the summit of sexual abuse in Vatican, I met a Chilean victim whom you're not seeing in the movie. But during the times of Pinochet, he was sold from Chile as a little child to the German family who wanted a child but not been able to bear their own. So they bought him, adopted, and gave to the school, Catholic school in Germany, that was a very famous German music school. Kid was abused, he became a victim of abuse, but he also became a very famous violin player. I met him when he was playing Bach and talking about his experience being abused in front of all the bishops and Pope in Vatican. I met him and I said, would you like to give me an interview for my movie? And he said, I'm not a speech maker, same words. I'm not exactly good to talk. For me, my music speaks. I said, would you like to come and record the music for our movie? And he said, yeah, it's a healing process for me. So in November 2019, I flew this guy from Europe to United States, and he spent 3 days in Malibu in our studios recording entire score of this movie on his violin. So that's talking about the music. So we allowed another voice of the victim of sexual abuse to be healed through playing his violin in this movie. Thank you. Talking about music. Thank you.
Music, and thank you very
Thank
much.
you, everybody, for coming. Thank you. So many mics. Oh no, one of them working.